Welcome back to Marion's World, everyone, and in this video today I'm going to be showing you how to do some extra greenery and French knots on the floral wreath. And before I cut you into it, I just have to say it's looking very dark. I didn't realise till I'd finished that I had my camera on the wrong setting. I've only just realised how to change it for filming in the garden, and I forgot to turn it back again. But by the time I realised, I'd filmed the whole thing in one shot and I'd already done all the embroidery, so I can't do anything about it, so it's looking quite dark. I did refilm the very end so you can see what it's supposed to look like. And stay watching at the end because I'll show you the back of it, because people have been asking me what the back of my embroideries look like. And I've also got some thrifting things to show you as well, with ideas for what to do with them. So I hope you do manage to see it, but I didn't really want to post it in the end, but I need to post it because it's on the stitch journal, and I can't go back and alter what I filmed. Anyway, I hope you managed to enjoy it. I'll see you at the end. Today I thought that I actually needed to put a bit more greenery on these two sides. It's just a little bit empty here. So before I do anything with any more flowers, I'm just going to come up here and put a few more of these feathery bits in. And I think I'll just be doing it with a bit of loose sort of combination of feather and fly stitch. It doesn't have to be all of one, it's just wherever you think that you need to put something. So if I bring up a loop and do that, if I go down here and put my needle down, that's definitely a fly stitch. But if I go out to the side again and come down a bit further and still into the loop, that's a feather stitch. And so it's just going to be a combination of both of them. I just would like that little bit extra bit of greenery. It just looked a bit unbalanced to me, so I'm just going to put my needle down here so I can come up. So that's definitely been a bit of feather stitch. I come back up. If I go down here and come up on the stalk, I'm definitely doing a fly stitch there. And I can go down again with another fly stitch. And then maybe I'll just go out here and do a little bit of feather. And it's just a combination of whatever you think looks good. And what I would say is you do sort of start to get a feeling for where you want those lines to be. And it doesn't have to be a particular stitch. It can be whatever you want. You don't have to be thinking, oh, this doesn't have a name. Oh, you've made one up then. It's fine. I just go down here. Actually, I'll just hook that one down so it's a fly stitch and come back up to just fill in that little bit of stalk. See what I mean? It doesn't have to be anything. That's a straight stitch. And I'll come back up here, ready to carry on down. So I'm just going to lean this in and get it going sort of into here really. And that's where I'm aiming for, into there, and I'll just put my little stitches wherever they want to go, wherever I feel they're going to look the best. So a bit of feather stitch again, just holding on to the tension of the loop with my other hand. I can join in with the stalk there with this bit. Just take a small stitch down and then a stitch over my wreath. It's always nice to incorporate it in. Brings the perspective to life. And that's just led that down into where sort of all my stems are leading. Take another one over the top. and maybe I don't want it to be in front of the rosebud. I'll just take a little one there, so still on feather stitch here, and then into my grouping. I've still got thread on my needle, so I am going to lead another stalk out, and I'll just finish off with a little bit of stem stitch. So I'm taking a stitch out, I'm coming back halfway, and then doing an equal distance in front. So whatever size that is, I'm going to do an equal stitch in front. I'm going to keep my thread to the same side all the time, so the thread is above. I'm bringing my needle out below the loop, pulling that in. I do the same again, so equal distance in front. I keep my thread up, bring my needle out below the loop, and that is stem stitch. And I'll just finish off by taking that down, so it's just like a stem. Or I could actually, I'll tell you what I will do, I haven't got much thread left, I'll just finish off with a little French knot. So I'll just go once, twice and 3 times around the needle. Oh, I don't know that I can get it on. I can't. Let me see. Once, twice, 3 times around the needle, and then down, and I can make a French knot to finish off my thread. That looks good. I'll finish that off. So I've got some more thread in my needle, still on the same colour, which is this lovely mid green, and I should have said at the beginning that I have actually separated all the strands and then recombined them in my needle, and I have 3. So same as this one. I'm going to do a similar little, I might need another bit there. Actually, I'll put that in now. As soon as I've said it, I know I want it to be there. So I'm going to do another similar bit again. I'll not start off level, I'll start off a little bit, one up and one down, come up for my fly stitch, just move that out of the way, and I'll just put a fly stitch in there, and come up and do a similar thing. I'm coming up almost on a level with where the other fly stitch was hooked down, and I'll take that one right in and come up at the end of the stalk, hook my loop, and I'm just going to pull it into there actually. Yep, that's good, and I will finish that thread off. So I'm going to do exactly the same and lay a little bit of this fine feathery stitches over on this side too. I don't like the gap here. I like this little piece, but I feel as if it needs to be joined in. So I'm just going to come out here and just put them in wherever I feel they're going to look nice. So it's a combination of feather, fly, straight stitches, whatever makes it look nice to you. So there's a fly stitch just gone in. I'll come back up for another one. I'll angle it in a bit, and then maybe take it across to get another fly stitch on. That's 2 fly stitches together coming down onto a stalk. I start over here and get something in this side. This time I'll do a little bit of feather stitch, hook my loop just straight over the top of my twisted chain, hook another loop, and do one to the other side, and come down quite a little way this time, and another one going out. And it really is just wherever you think you would like these stitches to go. There's a fly stitch because I've hooked it down, and I'll come back up to just put a straight stitch in, I think. Just put a straight stitch in there, and then maybe come out here and put another little piece in that it can join into. Like that. I can just sort of do it in one motion here. I'll join this little feather stitch onto the bottom of that stalk. Do one up and under here. I'm still on feather stitch here. I'll do a straight stitch down, and maybe just a couple of straight stitches to finish. I sort of want this to be the background. It's like the filler flowers in a vase, isn't it? You want your background stuff to be in the background, and then your main flowers come to the fore usually. Come to the foreground. So sort of that's what I'm putting in. Would have been nice to have them in originally, and then all of these would have gone on top. But I just ended up thinking there needed to be more than there was. Actually, I don't know why I was trying to do another stitch there. I've got about 2 inches of thread. I'm just going to run it in under the twisted chain, right the way down, and then under the rose, and pull through. That'll be perfectly secure. I can just cut that little tail off. And I think I'll just get one more little piece in here, and I'm just going to use the same colour. Don't want to use too many colours on it and make it too busy. And then I'll separate out my 3 threads. Stitches always end up looking nicely laid in if you do that. I know it's tempting just to split them down, and I do that myself sometimes. Depends what it is, but you do get a nicer lie of all your stitches if you recombine them in your needle, and it only takes seconds really. It's just one of them things. I'll take shortcuts all the time. So thread this needle again, and I'm back to do just a little bit here. Not sure about there, I might need a bit, but I think I quite like that. So I'll start here, I think. I don't want something too much, but I'm going to just audition where I want it to go. So I don't want it to come here. I sort of want it to go down under there really, like that. So that's the angle I'm going to make my main stems go in. So let's feather stitch some in with a few extra stitches here and there. So that's one piece, come across, hook my next loop, I will just may turn that into a fly stitch and hook it down, come up for another stitch. I'll do a really wide fly stitch here, but I'll bring the anchoring stitch right up to the bottom of that stem. Another fly stitch, and maybe a little bit of feather coming this way and over the top of everything else to make it look quite full. It's quite okay to go over the tops of other stitches. Just feather stitching wherever. And just pull that anchoring stitch in under this petal. Just lift it to one side and put the anchoring stitch down. I'm going to come back up and fill that tiny little gap in that I've got there, like that. And then I'm just going to put some straight stitches in, sort of pretending that that stalk is going onwards. So it looks like the little piece of greenery is going onwards underneath all this. I think that will work really well. And then there it is. A couple of straight stitches, and it's led right down into the back of where everything else is. And because there's not much thread on there and I've got some satin stitch here, I'm just going to finish off on the top by leading that thread right the way through and out. Oh, that looks a lot more balanced to me. I think I need a piece here, but I'll leave that till later maybe. And so now I'm going to put some extra little flowers in. What I would like to do is put some little forget-me-not type flowers. I think that's too dark. I'm going to look for a lighter blue. That's not much different. Go for a very light blue. That's really nice. Is it too much? Oh my goodness, I've just got to turn the camera off. My washing's hanging out and it's pouring down. I've just noticed. Oh dear, back in a minute. Well, I'm back, having rushed out and saved my washing. It was so sunny this morning, even though it's cold. But it's just started to absolutely pour. My washing was almost dry, so it's brought in now. Anyway, I've got 3 strands, and I actually did go to the very first blue that I chose, and I decided that was the one I'd use. So I'd just like to get some little sort of like forget-me-not flowers in, really. I'm trying to not do total fantasy flowers, even though they're sort of a bit fantasy flowerish, because I was thinking of geraniums and things like that, the way that the petals go up. But they can be fantasy flowers if you want, but I'm going to do some forget-me-nots. So I'm just going to do French knots, and I'm going to sprinkle them through. I'm going to start here actually at this end. Try and move the camera a little bit, and on these stalks that I haven't got anything, so I'm going to just sprinkle them through here and just do, I think, 3 wraps French knots and back down. And I'll just do a little circle of 5 and then finish off with a little pale yellow French knot in the middle, and that will really look like little forget-me-nots. I possibly could have done my yellow French knot first. I'll just see how we go. Just do a little ring. I might not actually be a new stitch this week. It depends. It's sort of more getting everything pulled together. I did want to do a particular one, but it's more of a difficult stitch, and I thought maybe I'd wait till next page for that. You should let me know in the comments if there's anything that you would particularly like to see in the stitch journal as I go through doing things, because if it's something I can incorporate in, then I can do that. You know, if it's a technique or something you've not done before, or something you'd like to have done again, then as I sort of think about each page going forward, I can probably, you know, try and do some. I do have ideas for sort of going through, and I know exactly what the next page will be, but the scope for doing all sorts of different things on it within the design that it's going to be. So yeah, let me know if there's something in particular. I'm just carrying on with these little 3 wrap knots. I'm just leaving enough space to get a little yellow knot in at the end. And I might not put one on every little stalk. I'll just see how I think it looks as I'm going. Just leave it open to see. Just, you know, it might be too much to put one on every little bit, or it might not be. I used to be such a person who needed everything planned out, but the more you do your own sort of thing, the less you want it planned out, I think. Or maybe still people do want it planned. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I sort of try and make the decisions as I go. So they're looking really pretty. I like them. Maybe I'll miss it out on those two and let them be a little bit more like leaves. And I'll skip down to, I'll put one on each of these ones. And they're just 3 wraps, needle in, knot down to the fabric and let go as the thread goes. Don't let go too early. So needle down, knot to the fabric, let go as it's nearly there. I'm going over my wreath here. Oh, nearly out of thread. One more. That's a bit messy, that one, and that's because I let it go too early because I'm trying to get to the end of my thread. So I'll try one more. And then I'll have to finish that one off. I'm just going to finish off by stitching underneath. I'll finish this little grouping off. In fact, I'm not even going to do a full flower here because the flowers are sort of clustered together. I'm just going to put another, maybe a little 3. Oops, I've dropped my needle. I'll put 3 knots in here and then it'll be like there's 2 flowers, one in front of another. Like that. And then I think I don't want to put any here. I think I'll drop down to these and a few here, or maybe here. I think that looks really nice as a group. I don't think I want to do anything on there yet. So I'll finish my thread off here. Or maybe I'll put the odd. Yeah, actually I'm going to go down to there, put another one in there. Like that. Just do a few French knots, not necessarily as a flower itself. Just lay a few in. And I'll work down to this little group here. Maybe I'll just put, I've done a 3 wrap, I'm going to do a 2 wrap. I'm going to do a one wrap. I'm just going to do it in a little curve, like it's a half open flower. So that's just one wrap to end. So it gets smaller and smaller. Do the same here. I'll start with, if I've got room to go out, I think I'll start with a 3 wrap and do a whole flower. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and coming up for the 5th petal. And now I'm going to do a big French knot, and I'm going to lead it out into a little bit of a curve. Sort of lead it here. So it looks like the bud. So I'll do 4 wraps for the next one. Make a proper little big bit, and then 3. And then 2, but I'm going to start curving it in. And I do another 2 wrap. And finish off with just 1 wrap round. Pull it right into there. Just once round the needle. That's good, like that. And I will do the same here. I'll just start with 1 and put a 2 on. And I'll end up with a 3 wrap. 2, 3, and 8. Oh, that looks super cute. And I'll leave those 2 as leaves. Come down here, ready to put another one in, but I'm running out of thread, so maybe I'll just do a little overcast piece of there, and I'll do it on top, and it'll look like a leaf. No, it won't. I'll just finish off. I've got a really pretty yellow here, and it's actually a fine pearl cotton. I would say maybe go for 2 strands of stranded, or even just 1 may be well enough, because this is quite fine. I'm going to put the middles in. And it's just a nice pale yellow. It's on the same sort of colour spectrum as the roses. And so I'm going to come up from the back into my first little forget-me-not here, and put a little French knot in there. I'll do 3 wraps, I think. Yep. Oh, super cute. Funny little things. I do love forget-me-nots. They would have been nice done in a variegated thread that went blue to pink. I do have some. I didn't particularly want to use it when I'd used the variegated here, but I'll show you it. There, that one. That would have made really good forget-me-nots. Because they do come pink, don't they? but I just didn't want to use another variegated so close to this that was variegated. So this little grouping here, I'm going to just put one knot in, and then the other will just look like a flower that's behind. Scoop down to here. Even though there's just 3 knots there, I'll just put a 2 wrap yellow one in. So like a half seen flower. And then over to here. This bottom flower will get a knot in the middle, and the others don't need it. They're looking really lovely. So I think what I'll do now is, because I've got the yellow in my needle, I will actually come across here and I'll just put a couple of middles in. So 3 wraps and down, and just wherever I think I want to put a little forget-me-not. I actually don't want to put them on all of these. I think I'm just going to put them in and among. They don't have to be associated with a particular end. I think I'm just going to put 3 proper big forget-me-nots in here. So that's where I'll put them. And then I also would like a couple on here as well. I'll put one there. And I'm just trying to look square on. So I'm working from the side because the camera's right in front. So I keep having to scoop my head to one side so I can see my embroidery straight on. And see that I'm not putting the design on in a funny way. And I think, should I put one under here? Do you know, I think I will. Trying to think if that'll be too much. I think I will. I'm going to put one right into there. If it looks awful, I can do something else, but I feel as if they will be quite nice. So I'll finish that thread off and I will put the rest of the French knots on there and come back to you when I've done it. I've got them all finished down that side, and I think that little one nestled in there looks really nice. And so I'm just balancing up the colours by putting some in this side as well. So I definitely, when you're thinking about how you are designing things out, one of the things to think about is how a design might be balanced. And so for something like this little wreath, you sort of, sometimes you can do them absolutely evenly spaced all the way round, and then that would be quite an even looking wreath. But this one is definitely not even. I've got all the weight to the bottom with the 3 roses and the big flowers. So after that, you're sort of looking for balance. You don't want one side to look more weighty or taking over from the rest, and that's with the design of the flowers, but also with the colour too. So if I was to do these same flowers but not do them in blue, it wouldn't look as good as me putting them in the blue colour, because I need to balance the blue here with the piece over here. So I don't want as many, but I do need a little bit. And that's why the roses are balanced here, and the flowers, there's 3 here and then 2. But each time it's sort of, it's like putting it on the scales and weighing your flower or something. You want it to be balanced, but it doesn't have to be evenly balanced. It just has to look right. And so for me, putting these extra few little forget-me-nots in here is going to balance up my design. And so I'm just going to continue putting some more here, and I will do the same exactly by leaving some without flowers so they can be the leaves, and some with flowers. I'm almost out of thread again. I've used more blue than I thought actually. I'll do this. Oh, I'll have unthreaded my needle. What I'll do, I'll finish this off and I'll just put my extra few French knots and see how it looks to see whether I'm taking it further today or not. Well, here's how I'm leaving it for today. And I've had to record this little end piece for a second time because I took my bit of filming to the edit and realised I'd had my camera on the wrong setting the whole time. So I've only just realised how you can change the setting to film outside, and I'd forgotten to turn it back to the inside. But of course I'd already done all my embroidery, so I can't change it because I can't go back and take it all out and re-embroider it again. So I'm really sorry that it's very dark. I didn't even realise until I looked at it back on the computer. But I filmed this little end scene again so that you can just see how bright the colours are and what it really is supposed to look like. So I've finished off the forget-me-nots in here. I've put just a little few in there, not too many, but I feel it's balanced. And the only things I would add, but I'm not going to today because I'm still not quite sure whether I'd want forget-me-nots or not. I feel I want another couple of little pieces here and possibly something in there. And it may just be something like the little forget-me-nots coming through here and there, or it may be something different. So I know I have some other flowers to add into here and then something at the top. And then I was going to do either a bee or a butterfly up in this corner. So it's coming on well. It's just such a shame I had the camera on the wrong setting for all of my lovely embroidery. But never mind, I learn. I'll not forget the next time. Well, I hope I won't anyway. Anyway, that's the finished page for this week. I hope that wasn't too bad. There's the back. I think the backs of my embroideries don't get too bad because I always used to not want to waste thread, and so I try not to strand too much across the back. And quite often, especially now I've started filming my embroideries, I actually finish off on the front a lot. As long as I'm weaving under stitches that are already there, I don't actually see a problem in that. And so as long as you're careful where you're cutting your thread off, quite often I'm weaving through my front stitches. But it's looking really pretty and I'm really pleased with how it's coming out. I'm going to put that down for now. And I've got a couple of things to show you. First of all, thank you to everybody who's sent me such lovely messages about the smocking. I wasn't sure whether it was going to be popular or not because it's sort of a bit of an old-fashioned thing, and also it's nearly always children's things that you see, little girls' dresses and things, but I am determined to do something for myself, and I've got something about that. I found this, which is a huge cotton duvet cover. And as soon as I saw it, I was thinking, oh, tablecloth. I'll make a nice tablecloth out of that. But as soon as I came home, I was thinking, smocked dress. And I just think, I hope you're agreeing with me that this looks like it would be a good candidate for doing some lovely smocking on a really lovely bodice. I think that would work really well. So I've got my duvet cover, that cost me £2.50. That's definitely something that'll be coming up. The next thing to show you is, people have been saying, what do you do with your fabric twine? Well, of course, I've got my shoe video and I did that. But I do need to do a little bit of alteration with the shoe, and I'll probably do something about that later. But the reason I was filming the twining video in the first place was because I was making a huge long length. And this is what I've done with it. I wove it at basketry into my basket. And I'm using the basket to store all of the material that Naomi dyed for me for my Christmas present. So if I take the material out, it's not the best basket in the world, I have to say. But it's the first one I've done all the proper weaving for, instead of just going a bit freehand. So here's my basket. So I did this on Saturday, and I'd done my bases before, and so the lady showed me how to do the chasing with the weaving and the 3-rod wale round the bottom and round the top, and how to finish it off. But I sort of got so far, and then I brought out all my fabric twine and decided to do that as well. And I think it's come out super lovely. I love it. It's so colourful. And I made it with I tried to make a different shape. It didn't actually work. That's supposed to be flat. I keep having to press it in. And then I wanted this to be a bit more rounded. But I'm still happy with it, as I was wanting that to be flat so it could actually sit against the wall. That was what I was aiming for. But I've wrapped up all Naomi's beautiful tie-dye and shibori fabric that she made me for Christmas, and I thought it was absolutely the perfect little storage basket for them. And so instead of these being in a drawer and maybe getting forgotten about, I'm going to keep these out on my table, and then I'll be inspired to make something with them, because I sort of know what I want to make with them anyway. I just keep forgetting to do it because they've been in a drawer. So now they're going to be in my bunny basket. Well, I'll do them again nicely. And I think they're going to look super cute. So there's another thing that you can do with your fabric twine. You can weave with it. So that's a good thing for it that I don't think anybody else has done. Thank you to all the new subscribers that are coming via the twine video. I wasn't expecting that. So welcome to everybody. Welcome old and new. Everybody who's here from before, everybody who's just joining me. I hope you continue enjoying the videos that I'm making, because I've got so many projects to do. There's not enough hours in a day to get them filmed, and there's not enough times in a week to do it. So, because I have to live a life, I live my life as well. But there should be some cool stuff coming up in the next few weeks. I'm going to just say bye there and say thank you for visiting me at Marion's World, and bye.